Hey, it's Mike Watson with Keller Williams here in Palmdale with your Antelope Valley real estate market statistics update for April 2025. So this month, the market was definitely throwing out some mixed signals, and I didn't know what to think of it. So I did something a little bit different, and I pulled up my own business statistics to kind of compare against the market statistics to see how things feel. Like I said, it was throwing mixed signals, and it's saying some things that are different than what I'm experiencing, and so I wanted to compare and contrast that a little bit for you guys. Okay, so in April we had 461 new homes come on the market. That was down 7.8% compared to March, and it was down 2.1% compared to April of 2024. The total number of homes that have come on to the market this year, so our total inventory right now is up 44%. And that's not shown on this slide, but I bring it up because both of these make it look like the inventory levels are lower than what they are, and that'll come into play a little bit later with the absorption rate as well. So again, while the number of new homes come on the market is down month over month and year over year, the total number of homes on the market is up 44%. That seemed like a lot, and so I went and looked, and the total number of homes that I have put on the market this year is up 80% compared to last year. So almost double. I've put on almost double the percentage that the market has increased by year over year. So there are a lot of homes coming on the market, right? So for the number of homes to accept an offer and go into escrow in April, we had 311. That is a 5.4% increase month over month, but it's down 8.3% versus April of last year. Again, so it showed that the number of homes that were coming on the market looked to be lower, but now you know that the total number of homes actually on the market is much higher. And so for there to be 5% more homes to go into escrow when there are 44% more homes on the market, that's not an equal balance. But very interesting that, you know, when we're comparing April of this year versus April of last year to make sure there's no like seasonality to the market, you know, statistics, that year over year we're down 8.3%. Not really sure why, and especially when we have 44% more homes on the market than we did. So there is a lot more to choose from than there was last year. To put that in comparison, or into perspective rather, the total number of homes that I have in escrow right now is up 20%. So the market is up almost 5.5%, and our business is up 20%. We're doing pretty well right now in comparison to the market. The number of homes that sold in April is 255. That's up 9.91% compared to March. So that's good. It seems like there's a good little surge, right? But we're down 19.6% year over year. And I think that's where the feeling of the market in general is not doing well. So we've got a lot more homes, 44% more homes on the market, but we've sold 19.6% less compared to last year. So that does show that the market is softening, but that's not what I'm experiencing, and that's what I brought up at the beginning of the video. So far this year, I have closed 2.5 times the number of homes that I closed last year. So while the market is showing a 19.6% decrease, our business for sold homes year to date is up 250%. So the market, like I said, is for sure throwing mixed signals on what is going on, and we'll continue to see that here. So the average sales price for the market is at $517,000. That's down 0.6% compared to last month. That's not a big change. And it's up 5.84% compared to last year. So values are up, even though everything is slowing down and there's fewer homes that are selling. For now, the average sales price is up. And that's because the supply and demand has kind of just maintained steady. They're both, well, up until now, they both were lower. But what we're seeing so far this year is that our supply is much higher and our demand is low. That does indicate that the market is softening, but we haven't seen a decline in values. That is something that we need to pay attention to in a really big way, because if that trend continues, the market won't have any option except to start to decline. But what's interesting with that, so values are up, almost 6%, but the average monthly payment is staying relatively the same, and it's been the same all of 2025 right now. It's been within a $5 window. So this month, the average monthly payment is $3,886. That's up 0.5% versus last month, and it's up 0.02% compared to last year. So the monthly payments have stayed the same. And just today, Jerome Powell said that for May at least, they do not plan on lowering interest rates. So we'll probably see this monthly payment stay much the same for next month when we do the sales data that recaps May. What's interesting with that is if the monthly payment, the affordability is staying the same, it's like I said, $5 is nothing as far as a change goes, and it's been that way for all of 2025. With that being the same and our average prices staying the same, the only thing that I can really extract from this as a cause is that the rest of life has just gotten so stinking expensive that the number of people who are choosing to purchase homes, even though the monthly payment is roughly the same, and it's actually much lower than it was for a chunk of last year. There was a couple months where we were over $4,000 a month. So we're back down below $3,900, and our demand is still coming down. So like I said, the only thing that really makes sense is that the rest of life has just gotten so much more expensive that people are choosing to not buy homes. And that's nothing that you or I can solve. We're just going to have to wait and see how that pans out. Moving on. So the average days on market for the entire valley is at 64.4. That's relatively unchanged compared to March of 25, but it's up 36% compared to last year. Again, with demand decreasing and supply availability increasing, the homes are taking, for the entire market, roughly 36% longer to sell than they did last year in April of 2024. That is different than what we are experiencing in our business. For our business, our average days on market for the homes that we've sold so far this year is only 25. So we are selling homes a little bit faster than in half of the time than what the market average is doing. So it's, again, the market's throwing mixed signals, and it's not exactly what we are experiencing in our business. So here's the interesting number to me. The average, this is the absorption rate. And what this is if we did not put another home on the market and we continued to sell homes that are on the market currently at the average rate that we have been selling them, in 3.85 months, we would not have any more homes to sell. That number is still leaning towards a seller's market. Anything less than 6 months worth of inventory is a seller's market. You can see that a 4% change on a single digit number compared to last month is not much, but it is up 58.4% compared to last year, so it has increased. I dove a little bit deeper on this, and the last time that we had an absorption rate that took this long was in November of 2018. That's been a long time now, 6.5 years. So the absorption rate, it definitely shows, in conjunction with the number of homes to go into escrow, the number of homes that have sold, and the increasing number of homes on the market, that the market is definitely shifting. It is going towards a buyer's market, and this is really the wrong time of year that would happen. Usually we would see this happen more towards October. We're seeing it early in the year, and there's not a whole lot of logic or rhyme and reason to it that we can point to. Like I said, interest rates are roughly the same. Monthly mortgage payments are roughly the same, if not cheaper than they were. And so the only thing that I can, keep coming back to is that the rest of life has just gotten so expensive for people that they've decided to, hold off on purchasing a home. I know that was a whole lot of information. So if you have any questions, or if you want to talk about, what it looks like for you, if you're deciding to make a move, sometime this year, maybe next year, and you want to come up with a plan, I would love to discuss that with you and see what your options are, and, see what's best for you. Always feel free to call, text, or email me, and I will talk to you soon. Have a good day.